Welcome everybody to Quilting Business Success. Our guest today is Lisa Totty. Lisa, we are very glad to have you
Mm.
here,
Thank you.
and
I'm really happy to be here.
we're going to hear your story, and I want you to feel welcome to just shoot the breeze and just share whatever you feel comfortable sharing. And I'm just going to ask you a few questions and we'll just start the conversation out. First of all, Lisa, can you tell us where you're located? Where is home for you?
We live on 80 acres about an hour south of Tulsa, Oklahoma, in a little town called Morris. Our closest neighbor is about a quarter mile away in any direction.
Nice. 80
Yeah.
acres. That's wonderful. Um, and so how long have you been long arming?
I started long arming about 20 years ago. I had a friend who lived kind of near me, and I'd go over to her house and we would piece quilt tops together. And she found a neighbor that had a gamble, a minus machine. It just went. You just turned it on and go.
Yep.
And we went over there and met with her and loaded our first quilt. And it was so funny because loading the backing upside down was such a weird concept when I first started long arming. Um, we got it all loaded and we did a real simple pattern. It took us a day to quilt this queen size quilt. And I thought it was great. It was hard though. And so after that, my friend Sue bought a computerized long arm machine, not a Gamble, but at the time, using her machine, I thought it was greater than sliced bread. I mean, I was just like, this is so cool after trying to quilt quilts on a domestic machine. I was in heaven, and I quilted with her for about mm, 5 or 6 years, and then she moved back to Minnesota. So I lost my long arm quilting access. And then about a year ago, I have another friend named Sonia, and she lives in Coweta, not too far, about 45 minutes from us. And she has a Statler, and she invited me to come over and quilt with her. And so I brought a quilt top and loaded it up, and I was amazed, does not even describe how much I loved working on the Statler. I mean, trying to learn a new software program obviously was a little bit clunky for me, just learning the process, but the Creative Studio software is so intuitive and there's so many things built in
Yes.
it that make it easy for you to quilt. I was like, how did I ever do it on that other machine? That's how much easier it was on Statler. So, uh,
Okay.
yeah.
So how far away did Sonia live from you?
Sonia's about 45 minutes away from me. My other friend Sue was about 20 minutes away from me. You have to drive a long way for everything where I
To
live.
get anywhere?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
you're not like in the city part. You're not like in Tulsa or anything. You're
No.
a little bit out in the boondocks, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So you worked with the computerized machine with Sue, and then Sonia had a Statler.
Yes.
And so what happened there? Did Sonia move away, or did you end up getting a machine of your own, or how did that work?
After I quilted with her for about 6 months, and she got to the point where I could just go over to her house on the days when she wasn't quilting, even if she still had a day job at the time, and even if she was at her job, I would just go into her studio and fire up the Statler and quilt on it. And it was so fun. But when you're the borrower of a long arm, you always feel like you have to hurry up and get it done, get it loaded, get it quilted, get it off the machine. And I never was able to be creative like I want to be. So, um, but I never thought I could afford a long arm. And Sonia, bless her heart, she was the best support system in this area because she kept saying, "Buy a Statler, Lisa. You can do it. You can make it work." And I was like, we don't even have any room in our house for it unless I put it in the living room. So,
So how did that work? Did you go ahead and get one?
it's funny. Last year in May, I was in Shawnee, Oklahoma for Quilting with Confidence. And I registered for Quilting with Confidence because I was using Sonia's machine and I thought it would be great if I knew the software better. So we both signed up and went to Quilting with Confidence. And while we were there, um, another quilter in Tulsa, Ann Olson, who you've had on your podcast before, she
Yes.
and her husband Pete were there. And Pete came over to Sonia and was saying, "Hey, I found this great long arm on Facebook Marketplace." And I was looking at the ad and it was a purple gamel. And I was like, told my friend Sonia, I said, please ask him to send you that marketplace ad. And I had never been on Facebook Marketplace. I messaged the guy while I was sitting in Quilting with Confidence and said, "Hey, is this machine still available?" And I went to Wichita, Kansas and bought her the next week. My husband had just had knee surgery, drove up there myself, bought her,
Wow.
and then they tore it down and brought the machine to me um, Memorial Day weekend. So, and then I still didn't have a studio. I had no place to put her, nowhere to put her. And I'm like, what
You
do I
bought
do?
it with no place to put it, huh?
Yes, yes. So my husband and I sat down and we probably had 100 conversations. Do we build a standalone building? Do we buy a portable building to put her in? Do we add on to the house? You know, we went through every scenario and it kept changing and changing and changing. And we finally decided on a 30 by 40 metal building. We started that in, I want to say August or September. No, August. And told the builder, I said, we have to be done by December 1st because I had already bought the Ascend retrofit and they were coming to retrofit it. I told him, I said, you have to wait till December 1st. That's when my studio will be done. And you guys were so accommodating. And so I had already paid for the retrofit and they retrofitted her December 9th and 10th. And so, yeah, and
Wow.
then I started my business January 1st. So I'm brand new business owner, quilter all my life.
Okay, wow, that is a lot. And by the way, while you were talking, Ann Olson popped on and said hello. She says she
Hey,
definitely
Ann.
remembers you. So, and hi, Ann. So we both know her. Um, yeah, so that is a quite a story there. Um, so, and you apparently you did buy your machine specifically to start a business. Is that right?
It was it was
Oh,
about equally, I wanted it for a business, yes, because I'm getting ready to retire from my corporate job. I work for a financial advisor and I'm going to work through 2026. And so I've started thinking about what I want to do when I'm retired. Um, I'm a little bit anxious about having a fixed income. So that's why I wanted to start a business now. My husband has a cattle business and he's getting ready to retire in about 2 months. So it won't be long and we'll both be, oh, he's holding up the 1 month finger. It's only 1 month now. Okay, honey, I gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. He
so
corrects me really good when I
okay.
don't say the right thing.
Okay, he'll keep you in line.
Yes, he
Yeah,
does.
he's your fact checker there. Okay. So so let me ask you this thing. Do you know or how w- did you do any research or did you know that there's enough business in your area to support what you're wanting to do or tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Um, our area, we do have a lot of long arm quilters. I'm a member of two quilt guilds, and both of them have I would say a good amount of long arm quilters. A lot of them do quilt for others, um, but it's also an aging um, demographic. One of my really, really good friends, and she's been a super mentor to me, is Mary Pinner. She's long armed forever. And most of the people that I know that quilt are my age or older. So I I felt like if if you are good at a skill, there's always business. To me, I don't think there's ever a saturated market. Um, there's a there are businesses, like chain type businesses that have one on every corner. So I feel like there's
Mhm.
never like complete saturation in any industry.
Right.
But I did do a lot of research. I checked all the quilt guilds in my area to see how many long armors there were. I asked a lot of people that were already in business what their turnaround time is. I actually did a whole business plan, and I gotta give Andrew a plug because you and he were talking on one of the Quilting Business Success podcasts, and I have watched them all.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so he talked about score, and when he said that, I said to myself, "What is score? I have never heard of that." And he did say the acronym, which was really good because I would have never known what it was. I reached out to a score mentor in Tulsa, and he helped me write a business plan, which is how I got a business loan. And I have to say, when I went into the bank to talk to our banker, he looked at my business plan, which was about 14 pages long, which I didn't think was very long for a business plan. I mean, I really just touched on the basics, I thought. And he looked up and he said, "Can I keep this? I haven't had a business plan written this well since I've been at this bank."
Wow.
So,
Very nice.
yeah.
So, all right. So you built a 30 by 40 building, bought the Ascend. Um, so and this, so I guess you made plans for all this. It's not something that's going to come back to bite you. Um,
It
and
might, you never know. No, it won't.
well,
It won't.
and you just you got your machine. Did you say December, January?
I got
Or-
it last May, a year ago, May.
Okay.
So, like 14 months ago,
Okay.
13 months
Okay.
ago.
Okay.
So, yeah, got my machine. She sat in the living room covered in a sheet until December when I got my Ascend retrofit. I never did get to use her with just the stitch regulator, but that's okay. I had a lot of other things to do trying to get the building built. And boy, building something, I didn't realize, I was constantly making decisions about not appliances, but like the fixtures and the lighting. And yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot of work building something.
A lot of details that do not occur to you when you're in the process. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, that is correct.
So is everything up and running now?
It
What's your
is.
status now?
It is. I did my first client quilt about 2 weeks after I got my Ascend. They needed it before Christmas, and it was just a baby quilt, but I was really excited to do it, and it was kind of a semi-custom job. So that was cool. It wasn't just edge to edge, and
Okay.
that I want that in the end to be my focus. I know edge to edge is your bread and butter, and it that's what helps our businesses go. But I love, love, love the creativity that Creative Studios allows you. And then my
Yes.
biggest goal is that I want to become a good hand guider, and I'm not right now. I want to be a really good ruler work quilter, and I'm not now. So that's my biggest goal. And I took a class with Karen Marchetti, and she was wonderful. But
Yes.
I don't learn very well in that kind of a group situation. When I'm learning and somebody's over my shoulder, students or a teacher, I don't really feel like I get everything out of it that I need to. So, but she was wonderful. All the
Yes.
instructors at Quilting with Confidence were amazing.
Yes, they are. Um, and you have the uh, uh, new owner training.
Yes.
Uh, and have you been through all of the those videos?
Yeah, as soon as I paid for my retrofit and they were available, I started doing them. And I also bought the Accelerate program and I'm working through it. Um, Not as fast as the new owner training because I wanted to be up and running and try to get as much information out of that as I could. But
Yes,
the both programs have been so informative. I really I'm really thankful that I bought a Gamel, not just for the quality, because I think it is far and above better quality than any other long arm that I've looked at or used, but the what you give back to us in education and those kind of things, that's what makes it the best company for me.
and that is a huge thing that you just mentioned. I mean, it's generally it's understood that the Gamel is the best machine out there, but people don't oftentimes focus on the support that comes with it. Um, you say that you've got the Accelerate. Can you tell us just briefly a little bit about that and what you hope for that to do for you and what it's for?
Accelerate is a program that was designed by Gamel for quilting business owners, and it goes through every aspect of the business and helps you um, get as much as you can out of your business. Right now, I'm stuck on social media. If anybody is watching this or watches this in the future and they can help me join my Instagram and Facebook accounts. If you can help me find a web designer that's not like astronomically priced, any of those things, that I need help. I need a lot of help.
Okay, and at the end we will get your information how people can get in touch with you if they want to, and yeah, they may get in touch with you not for you to do something for them, but for them to do something for you. So
And that would be
so,
wonderful.
did you say that you're are you currently still working otherwise right now?
I am. I have worked in the financial industry for the last 16 years, and um, I'm I am so scared to retire. I I want to retire so that I can quilt every day, all day long. I'm so happy and at peace when I'm in my studio, even when everything's going wrong. It's my happy place. But
Okay.
the word retirement really scares me, just the word. Um, and maybe that's because of my background. I grew up extremely poor, worked at least three jobs sometimes, even since I've been married. Um, I'm kind of the whatever it takes kind of person. When you need
Hmm.
money, how do you get money? Go get a job. So I every time
Hmm.
we needed money, I would just go get another job.
Right.
And my
Now,
husband, I have to say, my husband is wonderful. He's always worked. Um, it's not that I needed a job because we were going to lose our house or anything, but we did live paycheck to paycheck for a long time.
well, right now, with your quilting business, how much time are you putting into it, and what does the customer load look like? Can you tell us a little bit about what it's looking like right now?
Right now, I'm keeping up. I don't have a queue. I work in the evenings and weekends. I would say mostly I work on the weekends. If we're planning to go somewhere or do something on the weekend, I'll work during the evening. And I do 1 to 2 quilts a week for clients. I know for all you business owners out there that came before me on this podcast, that seems like nothing, but it is allowing me to catch up on my quilt queue, my personal quilt queue, which is about 44 quilt tops at this point. Because when you don't have a long armor for a long time, a long arm machine that you can use when Sue moved away and I hadn't started seeing Sonia yet and didn't know her, I just kept building quilts and putting them in a box. So there's a lot
Um,
for me to work on.
um, Anne commented and said, "Don't retire, just change careers." It's
That's it.
a lot of
Yes.
it is how you look at it, you know.
Yes,
And
that's the perfect way to look at it.
yes, we also got a Holly made a comment, said web design. Every state has a small business development center that offers many business services for free. I did my business plan, financial projections, website, and Facebook help. They were wonderful, and all the services were free. So anybody who's watching
Wow.
this recorded, and you can go back if you're watching live, you can go back and watch the recording to pick up any of the information that you may have missed. So just FYI.
Thank
So
you. That is great, a great resource. I really appreciate that.
um, so how, so right now, what did you say? How many hours you're putting into quilting these days?
I probably work quilting for others.
Yeah,
I
for
probably
others.
work 15, maybe 20 hours a week. Um, and then the rest of the time, I'm working on getting my studio decorated and working on my own quilts.
Okay. And you mentioned that you're doing edge to edge. Your heart is kind of in the custom quilting, and
It really
uh,
is.
so what are you actually doing? What kind of ratio does that look like right now?
My client quilts are basically all edge to edge right now.
Okay.
Um, I want to make sure I get enough custom quilts with my machine and not even another Statler, but with my machine so that I feel really comfortable. Most people that spend the money for custom work need it to be pretty perfect. So I want to make sure that I can make it pretty perfect before I start offering that service. But once I get to that point, I would say I will still do more edge to edge than custom, but my heart is in custom work.
Gotcha. And and I hear that sentiment from a lot of people. Your bread and butter is the edge to edge, but oftentimes your heart is in the custom quilting.
Hmm.
Um, Let me ask for the people watching, Lisa, the do you charge by the hour, by the square inch? How does that work out for you?
Right now, because it's edge to edge, it is square inch. Um, I'm not sure. I have been talking to a lot of people, and I'll probably talk to a lot more before I really start doing custom work to really get a feel for what would be the best way for me to charge for that.
Okay. And on the edge to edge, do you feel comfortable sharing what you charge per square inch for that?
Sure, my price starts at 2 cents a square inch. Um, and then depending on, if they wanted a really densely quilted pattern or just a densely quilted all over quilt, I might charge more for that.
And do you know if that is typical for your area?
I would say it's pretty typical. Um, Everybody has a little bit different way that they charge. Some charge for threads, some charge for loading, some charge for like per for bobbins and needles. I don't charge
Um,
for any of that because I feel like I'm giving somebody a service and I couldn't do that service without needle and thread. So for me, it seems like it should be all included, but I for
mhm.
my friends who do charge for that stuff, I agree that you're doing the best for your business.
Gotcha, gotcha. And do you do other things like piecing, binding, t-shirt quilts?
I will do t-shirt quilts in the future. I'm not doing them now. I want to be a little more prepared before I start that because t-shirt quilts are hard to just take somebody's top and quilt that. I feel like for a t-shirt quilt, it would have to be like a start to finish type project for me to feel comfortable about quilting it.
Have you
Um,
tried anything like that yet?
I have two boxes of my two sons' t-shirts that I'm going to work on before I start saying that I offer that. Um, they are very
Gotcha.
popular here. I went to our local embroidery shop to introduce myself and give her a couple of my cards and things like that. And that was the first question she asked me. She said, "Everybody who comes in here wants to know if I do t-shirt quilts, and I don't." So,
Well,
um, I'm sure I'll add that at some point, not in the not too distant future. And I have no idea
yes,
what I would charge for it. I'm going to have to do some research. I do like to do research. I mentioned that I have watched all of the podcasts.
yes,
I don't
yes.
just watch the podcast, Bobby. I have a I have an app on my phone that's a notes app, and I write down anything pertinent. I write down every time you have a podcast, where they're from, how much they charge, what they do for advertising. That has been a gold mine. The people that have been on before me that have talked about one lady from Australia had bags made. I took that idea and had my own bags made with my logo on them.
Yes, I remember that one. Yes.
Yes, and they're perfect. I love them. It's a great idea. I've gotten so many good ideas, and the ones that are really good, I bold on my little app. And everyone has the number of
Wow.
the podcast and all the information I could pick out of it so that I could use it in the future to help my business. So thank you,
Oh,
everybody who went before me, because your ideas made my business what it is.
wow. So if a support group called Quilting Business Success Anonymous rises up, you'll probably be in that group there.
Yes,
So
I would.
no, no, I'm inspired by hearing what you say. Uh, researching things and I'm just like you. I'm a note taker. I will. If I'm reading a book, sometimes I will write more pages than the actual foreword of the book is for my own notes. But so anyway, that's great. That's great. And I would tell the people watching to follow your example with that because knowledge truly, I've said this so many times, knowledge is power, you know,
Hmm.
and the more I talk to you, I'm really enjoying our conversation, by the way. The more I talk to you, the more I feel that you are on a road to success. And
Thank you.
I think sounds like you're on a good path there. Uh, will you share your source for bags? Amy is asking.
Okay. Um, I used Pro Imprint, not 4imprint that all the commercials on TV are about. I used Pro Imprint, and um, what I did was I took a reusable grocery bag that I had at home, and I took a king size quilt and I folded it up to see if it would fit in that bag, and it wouldn't. So I knew I needed to get a little bit bigger bag. And I found a bag that would work for a king size quilt. I measured it, and that's what I bought. Um, the podcast with the ladies from Australia. when I did that podcast, I actually reached out to her and I said, "Can you give me the dimensions of your bag?" And she did. She messaged me back right away. So if you guys have any questions about anything I talk about, if you go back through the podcasts, you'll get an answer because I promise you, everything I've gotten has
Yes.
been because of this podcast. It's wonderful.
Well, thank you. You don't happen to have one of those bags handy, do you?
I left it out.
It
I
probably.
took it out to my shop so I could use it as an example when we were talking. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if one happens to show up during the podcast, we can you can show it to us. But
Yeah.
okay, because I have like three people asking about those bags since you mentioned them. And
Just look
so
for the podcast with the ladies from Australia. I wish I could remember the number of it, but I can't. And my list is on my phone, which I'm using for this Zoom, so I can't even look it up.
okay, yeah. This is okay. We're having fun. We're having fun. We had a little technical difficulties before we started. Were you not on your phone when you first started out
Yeah, I
before
was,
we
but
got?
I was out in my studio, which I usually have a pretty good connection. I don't know why I didn't tonight, but it is what it is. So nobody gets to
Gotcha.
see Violet. I had her set up so I could see her in the background of the Zoom, but anyway, she's the same color purple as my sweater.
Well, once when we get to the end, and if you tell people I don't know if you have Facebook or whatever you have, you maybe you can post a picture of, or you can direct them to where that is.
Yes.
All right, all right. Let's move on here.
Okay.
Everybody's saying thank you for the information you just shared. They appreciated that.
Oh, good, good, good.
So, let's see. So at this point, where you are, is there anything you can think of that has been a difficulty or something that you've had to deal with as you have at this point in your business?
Um, okay, let me think. Hold on, I've got seems like I answered that question when I was going through my stuff.
I think maybe a
Okay,
hard part
I'm
that
so
you've
sorry.
experienced.
Ask me that question one more time.
Yeah, what has been, is there something you can think of maybe has been the hardest part of doing this business thing?
Oh, yeah, social media. And I would say I'm very familiar with Facebook. I'm on Facebook a lot, but I'm not a poster. I look at Facebook for my friends and relatives, things like that, but I am not a poster and I don't know how to use it to grow my business. I when I try to think of a post, to say something exciting like I see on other people's um business pages, yeah, my mind just draws a blank. I If you're looking out there, people, I really need some Facebook social media help. Please?
It's a cry for help, a cry for help here.
Yes, it is.
And okay. Um, and probably some of um, there's probably some contacts or something in Accelerate, and also some of the educators. They can be contacted, and they probably have some information about that also. They have some experience with that. So, okay,
Yeah.
good to know. So what you said you've been doing long arming, you said it's about 20 years ago
Hmm.
that and that was with the friend Sue, is that
Yeah.
right? And that
Yeah,
was some
Sue.
hand guided that you were doing.
Hand
What
guided to begin with, and then she bought a computerized, but it was not a gamble, but it was computerized. So
and so uh, how much of how big is the difference would you say between the hand guided and like the Ascend that you have nowadays?
the gamble that we used, the minus machine that we used with no stitch regulator or anything, I don't know how. I mean, I do know how because I could quilt on a domestic machine once I practiced a lot without a stitch regulator. Um, but it is really hard. I know that if I did it every day, I could do it, but I'm so thankful that I don't have to do it, that have a stitch regulator and that I have a computer program that I can use. Um,
Yes.
yeah.
Um, and I suspect I know at least part of the answer to this question. Who has been your biggest cheerleader support during all this journey that you're taking?
Okay. I have to say, and I hope this is okay. I have four. Obviously, my husband has been a rock.
What's his
Um,
name?
his name's Jason, and he
Okay.
is a wonderful, wonderful. He's the person in the picture with me that I had on my promo uh, picture. Yeah, that's my
Yes.
husband. We've been married 37 years, 37 years. And
Wow.
everything that I came up with, he was, yes, let's do it. We built my studio with money from my retirement, and he was like, "You're going to make money. You want to do something in retirement. Let's use this money and make it work for us." And then my studio was going to be 20 by 30. And he said, I talked to the builder and he said it wouldn't cost us much more if we wanted to make it a little bit bigger footprint. And I was like, okay, let's make it 30 by 40 then. Because my goal is to educate. My goal is to
Uh-huh.
have quilting classes in my studio. And I already work with our county 4-H sewing group. I
Hmm.
meet with them once a week with a really, really experienced sewer named Valerie, and we teach the children to sew. They quilt some, they sew mostly, and I am not a sewer, so I'm usually asking Valerie, okay, Valerie, what's the next step? Because I don't have a clue. But the kids love it, I love it, and I want to see children sew and quilt. I don't want that art to die.
Yes. And and that's also something that we encourage on this podcast is we do see and want to see even more. A lot of the younger generation is, contrary to popular belief, getting into quilting and have bought a gamel themselves. We've seen a ton of them on here. So yeah,
It's
I do.
really encouraging to me to see younger quilters.
Yes,
I'm so excited every time I see somebody that's younger that is taking up the craft.
yes. My resource people have let me know that the episode that Lisa referenced about the bag idea is episode 39. So you can look that up on the Quilting Business Success podcast and find episode 39, and you'll find that idea on there.
Bobby, really
FYI.
quick, I need to finish my who is my biggest support system because Jason,
Yes.
obviously my husband,
Okay.
Sue, who who worked with me and got me started long arming, Sonia, who graciously let me use her Statler anytime I needed it. She has been wonderful. And she's the one who kept saying, Lisa, you can do this. Just buy that machine. It'll work out. Something will work out. So I did. And then the last one is Mary Penner, and she should be on this podcast. She's been quilting long arm forever. She is a wealth of knowledge. She's the kindest person. I just love her.
Okay. Well, I just wrote her name down. So,
Great.
all right, Mary Penner. Okay. Well, thank you. Yeah. So it sounds like you have had several different significant people that have helped encourage you and inspire you through this journey. So that's wonderful.
I also
Um,
have one more thing that I wanted to say, and it's kind of a
yes.
plug for somebody, but when I first started this journey, and I have never met this lady, but she wrote a book, and it's called Quilting for Hire, something like Start Your Own Long Arm Business, something, something. And her name is Shelley Pagliai, and I hope I didn't butcher your name, Shelley. If you're watching this, I'm so sorry. But I carried her book around every day for probably 6 months while I was planning my business, getting things ready, buying things, getting all the legal stuff done for my business. And she was a wealth of knowledge, and it's a very well written book.
Quilting for Hire, Shelley Pagale. Does that sound right? Pagale?
It's
Pag, Pag,
Pagliai.
okay.
Pagliai?
Pag,
Maybe.
Pag, Paglii.
I
Okay.
think
Yeah.
I'm probably butchering it.
No, no, that's good. That's good. Okay. Excellent. We've got you on there. Um, okay. Oh, Pat has commented. She said, "Thank you for focusing on working with 4-H youth. Wonderful. You're
Yay!
definitely making a difference. I'm here to tell you that down the road, those youths will forever be indebted to you. Thank you. That's the reason I became a 4-H county extension agent. So
Oh, I love hearing stories like that. My children were both in 4-H and never raised an animal. They did all the other things that 4-H has, and a lot of people don't know that. They think that 4-H is just about raising animals. And there is so many things that you can learn to do in 4-H, and I have had a wonderful time.
awesome. Awesome. Well, Lisa, is there anything that you wish someone would have told you or that you would have
Mhm.
known when you first started this?
Um, I think what I would say is I wish somebody would have told me how at peace I feel when I'm in my studio, no matter how bad things are going that day, no matter how many times I have thread breaks or, you know, you have those days where you and Jack are just becoming best friends. I'm still at peace. It's the most peaceful place in the world, my studio. I get the music going pretty loud
Awesome.
and I just have fun.
And and do you have the customers come there into your shop? Is that right?
Um,
Or
I
how does that?
I'm flexible. If you want to meet me in town somewhere, because I kind of live out in the middle of nowhere, I've met people at Panera before to pick up and deliver quilts. I've met at libraries, um, really wherever. But I'm still working on landscaping around my building and getting a place, with like a walkway and stuff. So only my really good friends come to the house right now just because I wouldn't want anybody to get hurt. And
Gotcha.
um, I'm kind of, I wouldn't say I'm being secretive, but I kind of want to wait until my studio is completely decorated and all pretty before I have people come in.
I gotcha. I understand. And that thing that you were saying about just how much peace that you
Hmm.
have and when you're doing what you love. There's something empowering about that, and I'm saying that to
Hmm.
you and to all the people watching. When you when you're emotionally and spiritually healthy,
Hmm.
it there's something about it that creates success, and it draws people to you, and people, you can be doing something that's just a job. And if
Hmm.
it's not something you enjoy, even if you do a good job, just the people can pick up on, if it's not something that your heart is in. And the thing that you shared there is a key that I have seen with so many of the people on this podcast. They do what they love. They do what
Hmm.
they love. And I really appreciate that. And I wanted to just drive the point that you made right there home. I I do have one more question, Lisa. Um, with the experience that you've had, both pre-ascend and post,
Hmm.
um, do you think that that this journey that you are still in the beginning phases of, do you think it's that this is something that somebody can still do in this day and age and
I
successfully?
do. I do. Earlier I said I didn't think there could be market saturation. I really believe that, especially when you're doing something that is a creative process. Um, I don't know of a good analogy other than if you make nuts and bolts, they're pretty much all the same, right? If it's
Hmm.
a common nut or bolt, you can kind of find it at any Walmart or hardware
Right.
store. But if you need a specialty item, you go to find somebody who does whatever specialty you're into. And with quilting, there are so many different uh, types of long arm quilting. Very traditional, very modern, very in the middle. So I think if you are a quilter and you want to be able to do a little bit of everything, style wise. But if you find a style that really suits you, people will find you because they see your work and they see the
Mm.
things that you've done, and that's the type of quilting that they want. So, exposure, taking your quilts to Quilt Guild for show and tell and entering them in the fairs, even the local county fairs, just to get your quilts in front of people, not just quilt shows.
Well, that's awesome. Um, Lisa, I have to say it. It's been very inspiring talking to you,
Thank you.
and I'm serious. And I know a lot of people watching have been inspired. I've just seen from the comments coming in while I've been talking to you, they've been inspired. And thank you for sharing your story with us. Um, is there any way that people can get in touch with you or find you or see your stuff? What information you got for us?
Okay. Before I tell you that, I want to say I'm really missing Quilting with Confidence this year, and I sure hope it comes back next year. I went to four Quilting with Confidences last year. I traveled to Des Moines, Iowa, and Colorado Springs, and I don't even know where else I went. But I'm ready for it to come back. I hope it comes back next year. Okay, so let's see, I'm on Facebook, Lisa Totty. That's my personal page. I'll answer you if you post on my personal page. Um, Indie, Indie Quilting is the name of my business. And I have a business Facebook page, but it's pretty bare right now because I need
But
help
they
with
can
social
message you
media.
on there. Yeah.
Yes, yes, you can post or message me on that. I'm also on Instagram. Instagram and we don't have a great relationship right now, and maybe that's because I just don't know enough about it to make it work for me. So, Facebook would be the best place to uh, post, message
Okay.
me. You can personal message me if you want to through Facebook. That's fine. Um, and then my email is indiequilting@gmail.com.
Okay. Wonderful.
So
Wonderful. Well, Lisa, thank you so much. It's been great talking to you. And thank you all for joining this another great episode of Quilting Business Success. Lisa, you take care, and everybody else, happy quilting. Bye
thank
bye.
you.